I'm your host, Samantha Stone, and I'm excited to catch up on a whole bunch of things that are happening around the city. As you'll see when you see our guests, two of our guests are wearing yellow. I didn't get the memo, but that's okay. We will complement each other with blue and yellow. Up first, as always, Mayor Scott Galvin. Welcome, Scott.
Hi, Samantha.
It's good to catch up. I was really excited because I drove by and saw how much progress was made on the Pocket Park, and it looks like I know there's always little things that don't look unfinished but need to happen, but we look really close.
It looks great. I'd say it's there's a few finishing touches that we'll be working on, but it looks really good. They've done a great job, and I think Casey will talk more about it when she gets on there, talking more about some of the things that we're trying to do to spur the city. That's been one of the things that I think she'll talk about, but it looks great. DPW did a really, really nice job, and we're trying to add a little bit, some more flowers, and we've got some ideas about that, but I'm happy with it, and we'll probably try to do something towards the end of the summer, just to the planning process, to kick it off, just so people know it's there, and let them know about the work. So we're happy about it. Again, I just want to give a shout out to Rich Hagerty, because he got us a nice little grant to help fund it. So thanks to him and his efforts on Beacon Hill, and he's continues to deliver some timely funding to us. So thank you, Rich.
Yeah, it's great. And I know how hard everybody worked to do it. And I saw there's even a little stage there. So I'm sure as we get closer to opening, we'll find out how to use it and how people reserve it. But it was great. It looks fantastic. The team's done a really good job. I also just wanted to reiterate a couple of things we talked about last week, but now that those things are on the website and we have the dates. So we have the Hazardous Waste Day, which is the 5th. And am I correct? That's at the high school, correct?
It is. So it'll be, high school, there's no activities. Well, none that conflict. I talked to Dave Dunkley before we booked it, so we seem to be okay. We'll come in off of Montville Ave and queue behind the stadium, and then people will probably be exiting right out onto Salem Street. So it's a nice, the high school's perfect for it. We do expect a good sized crowd. It's going to be from 9 to 12 sharp, because that's when Murphy's is there. So we'll shut the line down at 12. So we're just going to urge people, if they're going to come, get there early, because we want to, once you get inside in the line, that's when we'll be closing it down.
That sounds great. And Lauren will put up, there's a nice list on the city website. She'll make sure that that's a graphic put up here as well, so people can see what things.
That's excellent. Thanks, Lauren. Appreciate the support, and the more people know about it, the better it is.
That's great. And then
we hope to make this more of an annual event that helps people get by, because it really, honestly, when you think about it, Samantha, 9 to 12 is going to be, it's a tight window, and it's going to be a lot of people there. I think it's something they've been waiting a long time for. I know I sometimes, because I have a place in New Hampshire, I can take things to the dump up in our New Hampshire property. But having something local here, most people can't do that. So I know this is awesome. People are going to be really excited about it. I suspect you're going to have a lot of people wanting to have a second one. They will, and we'll probably, who knows, maybe we will, do one semi-annual to get up to go. But one of the things I do want to urge people, if they're listening, just to take a look at the flyer, because there's a lot of things that don't really qualify for the hazardous, and we take them, but there are other places that you can do them on a regular basis. So just an FYI is to read the flyer and make sure you take just what we're taking that day. And if you have any questions, you can call my office at the Board of Health, and we can give you some more direction.
Yeah, thank you for doing that. And the list was really clear. It was really good. And for items that people might think of as hazardous that don't qualify for this day, it was really good to see where they can be dropped off and such. So whoever put that together, appreciate it. It was nice.
That was John.
I sent it to my husband and I said, go to the basement. Find out. I know we have stuff, well, at least oil paint, if nothing else, down there waiting to go. So that's awesome. And then I know we've talked about this last week as well, but on the 3rd at 11, the fire headquarters, which includes guided tours and things. So it'll be fun activities for family to come check out and scope out the new headquarters if they haven't seen it yet. It'll
be a good day. Yep, we're excited.
Awesome. Anything else you want to cover off on while we're together?
No, I think that's really about it. I know it's a little quiet right now tonight. I've got a couple meetings with the city council in about an hour. We're going to be talking about there's a lot of important things that go on down the committee meetings, but one in particular is the creation of the new deputy chief police. That's going to be on the in the ordinance committee, and that's an important position for a number of reasons. One, it really will help the chief. It'll help the chief as far as some of the other duties that he's taking on now, and allow him to free him up for some more time to do some of the things that he needs to do. And another really important part of it is that it'll be the liaison to the schools for the safety officer, and he'll work with the schools to identify those areas that need to be shorn up and to be looked at, to do our best to make the schools even safer than they are now.
That's great. That's an important position. I'm glad to hear that we'll be filling that. Excellent. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, good to see you.
Appreciate it. Up next, Leah, I'm excited to talk with you about our Horn Pond concert series, which is always a fabulous free series that's happening. Tell us a little bit about this year's.
Sure. So yeah, we're really excited. It's a fun event, or events that we get to put on at SDI. So I can tell you a little bit about kind of how it got started. I did actually ask David Carley, our president and founder, and I knew parts of it, but I didn't actually know the whole story. Our SDI, as you know well, Samantha, is an organization that really focuses on bringing people together and cultivating connections. And the concerts do that in a really fun and easy way. So way back in 2003, our kind of first year of existence, one of our early themes was supporting ways to make Woburn Center a more vibrant place, bringing people together. All the amazing restaurants that we have now were not there back then. So, really, we actually worked with the Woburn Redevelopment Authority on a number of things, and their office was where the Brickyard was. So we initially started those concerts where the Brickyard is and now has their concerts on Wednesday nights, I think. And over the years, obviously, the Brickyard came in, things changed. We still enjoyed really doing those concerts. And we've now moved them to, and I say now, it's been quite a few years. I want to say at least 10, but that we're back down at the Pond, which is the beautiful location. We'll have them Friday nights. We have 3 dates. I can list them, but I know I will also, we can send them out. But the first one is
go ahead and list them.
Okay, sure. So the first one is planned for this Friday. We are keeping an eye on the heat, but for this Friday, and then we'll have another one on August 11th and August 25th. So I think they're all 2 weeks apart, which brings us, unfortunately, to the end of our summer here in Woburn. But they're Friday nights down at the Pond, Ice House Park, which is technically how it's known. I feel like, some old school Woburnites will know it by that. Otherwise, just go down Sturgis Street, kind of a big open area on the opposite side of the big parking lot at the Pond, and you'll find us there, and you'll hear the music. And you can sit right next to the pond. There's always a little bit of a breeze, at least even on a really hot summer day.
Yeah, it's great. And, people can bring chairs and foods and stuff, whatever, what would you recommend people bring with them to make the most of the live music?
Yeah, so I was writing down some notes, and I was like, well, what should you bring? I was like, if you don't want to sit on grass, something to sit on. We don't provide chairs, but a lot of people will come down with just a blanket. It's a great place to bring kids. I know Oliver's been there. My son has been there every year, just running around. Usually has some sort of bubbles or something for the kids to play with and just dance and have a great time. And we don't provide food or anything, but we've picked up a pizza at Brickyard, Panera, bring your takeout, have dinner, and the great little spot right by the pond, and listen to some great live music.
Yeah,
and hopefully talk to some neighbors.
It's a great little area for a picnic as well. I know my husband and I we now have all adult children, but they're not so long ago, they weren't all adults. And so it would be like a little date night away that was close to home that we could do and just check out some live music, come and go. It's a family-friendly environment. Yes. For all the music. So there's always lots of people down there. Come check it out. And just a fan favorite for my kids when they were little and I would bring them is I always brought them little glow bracelets and things to run around with. And somehow that made it a magical night for them. They would let us, sip our cold beverages and enjoy our food a little bit more. So encourage people to come on down and enjoy that. Tell us a little bit about the bands that are going to be there this year.
Yeah, absolutely. So this first one coming up is the Boston Rovers, which if you have come in the past, you probably have come to one of their shows. They've been here with us, I feel like a lot of the summers. It's Irish music. So it's a little bit of a mix of everything as well. They do some traditional Irish music, which is something fun for Woburn. And this Friday's is sponsored by La Macchia Realty. So thank you to them for supporting us. They'll also be down there with some fun things and giveaways and all that. And then the August 11th date is the Paragon Project, which is a new group coming to us. Actually learning about them myself. We actually learned about them through one of our SCI AmeriCorps members that served with us in Woburn this year, which I'll have to come back and talk about SCI AmeriCorps some more. But if you know what I'm looking for, what's next, reach out to us. Some great opportunities to serve with us at SCI. But it's kind of jazz rock music that's never the same every night. They kind of will invite people up to join. Just a really interesting community-minded idea. And our final concert on the 25th is Eva Davenport, which our Juneteenth celebration was a bit rainy, but if you made it out, you would have seen Eva. She sang during the main speaking event as well as performed, and she was incredible and so much fun. So we're really excited to welcome her back to Woburn, kind of R&B, soul, hip hop type music, and she's fantastic. And yeah, it's going to be really great. I'm excited for that one.
And remind us, Leah, what time did the concert start?
It'll start at 6.
Great.
And go until about 8.
Perfect.
It
A perfect evening on the pond. Check out the evening. It'll be a little bit cooler part of the day too. Even if it's hot out, it's kind of a nice chance. So thanks for joining us, Leah, and reminding us about these awesome free concerts. I hope lots and lots of people get a chance to go check it out.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having me, Samantha.
Anytime. Next up, Casey Hagerty.
How are you doing?
I'm so excited to have you, Casey. I know you have been very busy since the last time we spoke. Tons of stuff going on. One of the new things that's happened is that there's a whole new business development website that's gone live on the city site. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I'm super excited about the new to my position. Starting about 6 months ago, there was really a place for someone who was looking to open a business to look for on the website. So we've created this new landing page. You can get to it right from the homepage of the site. There's a few links from there, but it essentially provides an introduction to the city's economic development goals and initiatives, re-emphasizing our commitment to being a business-friendly community. There's a lot of relevant information that a potential business owner might want to know about. There's a lot of city statistics about demographics, a lot of just that type of thing. When you're placing your business, you might want to know, what type of city you're moving into. So we really try to promote it as, a booster for all things Woburn on there. There's a frequently asked questions section, which provides some clarity on our zoning regulations and our permitting process. A list of contacts to provide, a list of contacts that will direct you to which department heads you'll have to speak to open a certain kind of business. And then we also have an entire section, devoted to Woburn in the news, where we highlight featured initiatives happening in the city, different articles from various news sources that promote Woburn. So we really just try to keep that fresh weekly with new things happening in the city. So we're really excited to have it. And, this is just the first iteration. As we move forward, I really hope this website to grow and build and develop into, an even bigger and better site.
Well, I love it. And I think it's awesome to see. One of the things I know is so important to us as a community is to keep just the downtown area, but certainly in the downtown area gets a lot of focus from us, but other areas where we're attracting lots of different kinds of businesses, right? So we want, bigger commercial businesses, we want service businesses, we want all kinds of things. What are some of the things that we're doing as a city and with your new position to help encourage us to have different kinds of things come to our city and be available to all of our residents?
Yeah, absolutely. So now that I'm 6 months in, this kind of business development arm of my role is kind of growing and expanding. Currently, I work closely with a lot of the commercial property brokers in the city to understand, what properties are available and, who's interested in what. And then we try to connect potential tenants to spaces that are suitable for their needs, to create that vibrant business community. We're also taking a deep look at the zoning code. You know, it was originally written in 1985. So the zoning code doesn't necessarily match up with today's requirements for a business, and that can sometimes hinder someone from moving into the city. So that's on the list. So the building commissioner, planning director, and I have been, having some initial meetings about, how are we going to update that zoning code to make sure that it's attracting the right uses. And then also just really building out the website and social media channels to create like a robust online presence that can attract residents and businesses, by showcasing the city's unique offerings. So that the business development is in process, but I think we have some really exciting things coming down the line.
That's awesome.
Woburn is such an attractive community already. I think it's just doing it in a more strategic way and getting what the best uses are into the city.
I think it's fantastic. I love seeing new places pop up and gives us new opportunities for people to get jobs and for us to try new things as residents and things. One of the things that I know is available on the site is not Woburn specific, but there's a link to which is the MassDevelopment has a new program to invest in small businesses. And I just was hoping maybe you could tell us a little bit about, for some folks who might be listening, who run small businesses, who might qualify for that program and want to go check it out.
Sure. So MassDevelopment is a quasi-state agency that gets state funding to essentially, develop and bring in more business to the Commonwealth, along with a bunch of other programs. But one they've recently rolled out is the State Small Business Credit Initiative, which provides loans and guarantees for real estate acquisition, construction, renovations, purchase of equipment, capital upkeep. But this program is limited or is offered only to socially or economically disadvantaged individuals, which is defined as individuals who have had their access to credit on reasonable terms diminished as compared to other communities. So it's really targeting minority communities, LGBTQ communities, veteran status, people with physical handicap, traditionally underserved communities. So there's a whole list on the MassDevelopment website that, goes into more detail about who's qualified, but I'm happy to connect with anyone who might be interested and walk them through the details, as well as connect them to people at MassDevelopment that, have all the information that they need. But I think this is a really exciting opportunity for Woburn to diversify our business mix and diversify the commercial property owners that we have and really kind of reflect more of the community that we have.
That's great. Thank you for catching us up on that. One of the things that I know is you mentioned on the site is around permitting. And sometimes it feels like permitting takes forever because from the outside, we see a business and it has a coming soon sign and it's been there and it feels like it's there forever. And we're like, oh my gosh, what's going on now? Their delays and their time in that space may have nothing to do with permitting, but I thought it was a good opportunity to talk about in general, what expectations are they for a new business who's coming into the city, a small business in this case, who's opening up some kind of retail storefront? What expectations should they have about the permitting process and that they should plan for?
Yeah, I think definitely the first step is start as early as you can. I'm happy to talk to people before they even have a location in mind. And then, that can sometimes direct people to the correct parts of the city where their use is allowed. Otherwise, I'd like to be the first point of contact and connect you with the building commissioner and zoning enforcement officer who can then, definitively tell you whether your use is allowed or not. Sometimes the uses have to go through city council for a special permit. I think that's someplace where we could create some more efficiencies, especially in the downtown. I think we're kind of missing out on, or, we're creating unnecessary hurdles for businesses that we want in the community by not opening up the zoning to allow more of those uses. For example, in the center specifically, fast food requires a special permit from the city council, whereas a restaurant use is allowed by right. But, as the restaurant industry is kind of changing, we're seeing more of these fast casual type places like a Pressed Cafe or a bubble tea, and to have to go for a special permit is really hard for a small business. But yeah, essentially, once you get, your zoning approved, you would apply for a building permit or a certificate of occupancy from the inspectional services department, and they move very quickly. Once you get to that building phase, it should move pretty quickly. And then I think a lot of the delays we do see are because of construction and supply chain delays and whatnot, but we have a few openings probably this week, so I'm really excited.
Yay, that's super exciting. I love to see new businesses open up and be there. I also just want, one of the things that has happened is There's a bunch of new apartments and things over by Anderson Station that is designed for commuter residents, and of course, some of those people have cars and such, but many of them don't, and that's sort of who's being recruited into those luxury apartments. And I think sometimes it's hard for them; they don't even know what's in Woburn, right? Because it's not, they can't walk to town, the center of town. I mean, I suppose you could, but that's an awfully long walk. And even to some of the other parts of Woburn, they may not be familiar with. I don't know if there's things we're doing or thinking about to just educate those residents about all the businesses that are in Woburn, but I wanted to just ask about that and see what we might do to make sure that they at least know all the awesome things that we as a city offer that may not be obvious from where they're staying.
Yeah, that's definitely a priority of mine, because we want to ensure that the new residents feel part of the community. And we also want the business community to benefit from this new group of residents. And a lot of the companies, already market actively the restaurants and businesses that we have in the city, but I think it's building off of that. I'm working on a downtown brochure type map that will highlight the different restaurants and amenities and locations that might be interesting to residents. So I'm hoping once that's complete to get that into all the leasing offices of these buildings. That way people have it. And then I think when we need to think longer term too, when we're permitting these buildings, thinking about bike share, thinking about car share, thinking about pedestrian and bike amenities and infrastructure that will make it easier for people to come downtown, even shuttles or that sort of thing could be considered as part of the permits that are granted. Yeah, it'd be really important to get people out and explore, the different neighborhoods and, feel part of the community. So I think there's a couple different ways we can work on that.
I love that. Those are awesome ideas. I look forward to those over time. The last question I had for you is, I know there's a newsletter that people can sign up for. Tell us a little bit what's in the newsletter and who it's for.
Yes, the newsletter is really for anyone that's interested in what's happening in Woburn. It definitely has a little bit of a commercial flair to it. It highlights some of the business happenings and economic activity and initiatives, but it includes information that would be relevant to businesses, property owners, residents, community organizations. The goal is to highlight all of the activities and news that's happening in the city and promote it as a great place to live or do business. I'm just hearing about those SCI concerts. I'm definitely going to add that to my newsletter that's going out tomorrow before it's too late. Just things like that, really building the community.
Awesome. I love it. The concerts are super fun and they're free. So they're a great opportunity for people to check out. I know Scott mentioned a little bit about the Pocket Park. You might have some news or updates around that. I want to give you a chance to chat about how we might use that stage space or space in general and anything else that I might not have asked you about, but that's going on.
Yeah, the Pocket Park looks amazing. It's very close to being done, doing some finishing touches right now, adding some more landscaping and natural hardscaping to give it a little bit more of a flair, I guess. But yeah, we really hope to promote that and activate it moving forward, whether it be lunchtime concerts or working with the Redevelopment Authority to just do some live art, hopefully have some murals there down the line. So I think it'll naturally become a real gathering space for the community and try to get some games out there and, working with the different community organizations to really use it as a resource, since a lot of time and money has gone into it, and it really is special for the downtown now.
That's great. Anything else going on? I mean, that was a lot, but I want to make sure I didn't miss anything important.
The only thing else that we have going on, we'll go out in the newsletter this week, but we did launch a economic development Twitter account. We are at Woburn Econ Dev, so it'll be in our newsletter if you subscribe from our new website. But we're excited just to have another channel for getting our message out there to the community and also sharing, everything else that's happening in the community through that as well. And we'll have more channels rolling out as we move forward, but we started with Twitter.
That's great. And I know Twitter just went through a rebranding of X. So we'll see.
I think it's X now.
We'll see what that means. But if you go to twitter.com, it goes to the right place. So Casey, exactly. Thank you so much for your work and making our community a vibrant place that businesses and residents coexist and serve each other in really important ways. And we were so excited about the things that are coming and the things that have been done so far. So thank you for adding some transparency in the newsletter and the website and keeping us all informed. And Woburn, as always, please continue to take good care of each other.